Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if you had a baby with a life coach and a therapist, you would get me. I am so excited to welcome you today for this amazing conversation with Danielle Gartman. I have known Danielle and her husband Jeff for quite a while through 169 Town Society in Connecticut. The journey that has us running through all the 169 towns in Connecticut. She shares so much about her own journey towards running all of their 7 world major marathons. She talks about Run Disney. She talks about her own inspiration and what drives her to really live her best life. And I know you're just going to love this conversation. So, without further ado, what time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Podcast time. Jesus. Hi, Danielle. Welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Good morning, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh. So you have such an amazing story and you're having such an exciting year. So let's start with like what you're up to right now in terms of running and you just came back from Tokyo. Like let's dive into it all.
Yes, just came back from Tokyo a little under 2 weeks ago. The race was 2 weeks ago. Quite the experience. Once in a lifetime for me, for sure. Guess you sort of alluded to it. I'm chasing the Abbott World Marathon Majors. Tokyo was one of the last few that I needed. The now I just
That
have
was
my.
6 for you? 6 or
It was
5?
five.
It was
My
5. Okay.
my sights are set for Boston, which is in 31 days. It's in exactly 1 month. So that's the next big thing on the list. And it's at this point, it's all eyes to Boston. And it's been a really, really good running year. And there's a lot of good things on the docket as far as that's concerned. And I definitely have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. So did you run the Tokyo Marathon with for fundraising, or did you get in, or how did that work? I know you've given me so much knowledge about how to get into Tokyo because, like you said, this is one of the hardest of the world majors to get into.
Absolutely. I got it. I was very lucky enough to get into Tokyo through the charity route. So
Okay.
I've heard rumors that they're changing the charity process this year, but how it worked for me, or how the Tokyo selection process worked at the time last in 24, getting in for 25, was charity entries go first. So charity lottery window opens up. They had about 40 charities they work with. You can read about each one. You can apply to one singular charity, make your call, like state your case for why you want to run for them, and make a pledge saying essentially, if you pick me, I will donate X amount of yen or dollars to your charity. And then they window will close. The charities will go through and make their selections, and then notify those who either got in or didn't. And it's still, I think, across the charity lottery process, only 5,000 runners get in across all 40 charities. So it's a very, very low number of people. Then from there, they move on to what's called, I think, the One Tokyo or One Global, like, lottery process. And that's a kind of a pay to play. Like, you can pay for extra lottery spots, and they do that drawing. And then they do the general lottery, like a New York or a London would do. And like only 2% get in through that. So Tokyo is very, very selective with who gets into the race. The course was only about 35,000 people. It's one of the
Oh,
smaller majors.
okay.
So I was very, very fortunate to get in through the charity route. Probably because I
So,
overbid, chose to donate a ton more money than I needed to, but I wanted to get this done, so I was
yeah,
willing for it.
yeah. So, how was the course in Tokyo?
The course itself was not terrible. The pavement was really smooth. Like, it wasn't like running around here, where you're going into divots, potholes, cracks, bumps in the road. Like, I actually found the terrain really easy to run on. The part of the Tokyo Marathon course that I think was a little bit of a mind mess for me was all the switchbacks and the out and backs, because it's
Mm,
big. it is it's a out and back. It's essentially not it's straight out and back, but it's like you go down a road and then you come back, and then you go this way and then come back, and then go down and then come back. So I know at one point I think I was at the 15K mark, and on the other side of the road from me are the people who are just hitting 29 and 30K. So I'm like, okay, like this is great. And then
Wow.
one of the last switchbacks was at the very end. I was at the 33 marker and I could see the 38 and 39. So like, okay. Like, so it's just one of those like you would be able to see how either far ahead people were from you or how behind you were. So
Yeah.
it was a great way to like see a lot of people. The course itself is, you're running through a major city. So lots of buildings, lots of cool things they got to run past, like the Tokyo Tower, Tokyo Sky Needle, I
Oh,
believe.
cool.
Yeah, so the spectating was really cool too. It's one of the quieter of the majors. So like you've run New York, so you know
Yeah.
how much of a party New York is. And I know you're running London next month, and London
Yeah.
is on par with New York as far as like crowd goes. Tokyo showed up, but they were quiet. So it's not like rowdy cheering. It's like it was sort of a thing to be like, okay, you're cheering and I'm seeing you be happy, but you're like silent. But there were a lot of like cool cultural things on course, like
Yeah.
dancers, cheerleaders, bands, drums.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so that was all really cool.
That's so funny. I know you and I both did the United half in New York City
Mhm.
last week, and at one point, and I always like feel for the spectators because it is hard to be like loud and cheering consistently. Like you get sick of yourself, your throat starts hurting. But I was running through this section, and it's like just like you described in Tokyo, like where everyone was standing and smiling, and I was like, "Where are the cheers?" And they all were like, "Yay!"
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was a very like brief moment, but I was like, this is too quiet. Like you gotta be loud. Um,
Yeah.
that's good to know for Tokyo. So is Tokyo hilly or is it flat or
Tokyo was fairly flat. It's running on road, you're gonna get some of your natural little inclines, little declines there. I
yeah.
did not find the course particularly hilly. New York, even the New York City half is by far hillier than Tokyo ever was. I love that most of
And
these were
You just PR'd your half last weekend.
I did. I PR'd my half in New York, which was incredible. Tokyo, it was nice because I kind of came back from Tokyo, kind of like licking the salt in the wounds, like kind of behavior, because I was on pace for the first 18 miles to have like a wicked PR for my marathon distance. But there was just factors that worked against me in the back half of the race.
Oh,
And at the end of the day, I know it's out of my control. There was nothing I could have done to make it better, but it's so frustrating to know that you're there and you see it and you're on pace for it, and just they're just like, nope, and it just gets taken from you. So kind of coming home, I'm like, dang, like okay, like just kind of pick myself back up and look to the next one. So to do really well last weekend in New York
you needed it.
was icing on the cake. I needed it. It was, but I still did for as much as I've been kvetching since I've been getting home from Tokyo about, oh my gosh, this, oh my gosh, that. I did well. Like I am, considering the factors that worked against me, I'm happy with my time.
Yeah.
It's just the edge of competitiveness with yourself when you run. You're like, oh, dang it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So, how are you feeling moving into Boston? I am so excited for you to so you've never run, this is your first Boston.
first Boston, I never wanted to run the Boston Marathon. This was a race that for multiple I can even think back to 12 years ago. But I had a coworker in Virginia when I was living down there who was an avid runner. And I know he had run the Boston Marathon at least once, if not twice. And this was before I really got into running. Like I think I had done a couple, like a half or two at Disney and whatnot. And I remember telling him like, kudos to you. You will like you'll catch me dead before you find me on the Boston course. And here I am like 11 years later, like foot meat mouth, because I'm running Boston this year. Um Now that I know it's 31 days away and it's coming down to the wire, and it's the next big thing on my calendar. It's sort of surreal that it's happening. It's a position or a state that I never thought I'd end up doing. And then when this crazy goal about 2 years ago of maybe I will do the World Majors came about. Boston was the one I knew even then I wanted to finish in Boston. It's the marathon I'm looking forward to the least. It's the one I didn't want to do, but
And I bet you're gonna love it the most. I
I'm sure that I
bet
will.
you.
I'm
So
sure that
so okay,
I'm
let's
sure that I
let's
will.
talk about the world. So the world's is Sydney, which is the newest. So
Sydney is the newest.
that will be your last one.
Yes, that's so. Spoiler alert! I'm running Sydney.
Ah!
I was gonna talk about that after Boston,
Oh
but
my God.
I did get into Sydney. That's and that's also a foot and mouth scenario because even all through up until probably December, I was like, I'm done at 6. I'm not going to Sydney. You're not getting me on that plane. And in January, I can get into the story later. It's again foot meet mouth. Jeff and I are we're going to Sydney together and doing it together, which is really exciting.
When
But
is that? August?
August 31st, so it's Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
So going back to all the what the world majors are, Sydney is the newest one, so they're
Okay.
technically the seventh. So it's Tokyo, Boston, London, Berlin, Chicago, and New York.
Okay. So out of all those that you've done, which is New York, Chicago, London, Berlin,
And Tokyo.
and Tokyo, what was your favorite?
New York.
Okay.
New York by far was my favorite. It is not, I PR'd the day I ran New York by a good amount of time. Like, I think I PR'd by 10 minutes that day. And it was one of the most incredible feelings ever. I'm from New York originally. I was born in New York State. I grew up right over the bridge in New Jersey. Jeff is from Manhattan. So for us, that's home. So to run essentially what is like my childhood hometown race and just feel the magic of what New York has. Like New York truly has an energy and a magic that cannot be replicated at any race you can ever do. And it was a party, it was electric, it was exhilarating. I can still look back like, while it may not be my fastest half anymore, it was at the time, but it's not anymore. It was hands down one of my most favorite races I've ever done in my
Yeah.
life. It is like top of the list, like hands down. I think London would have been number 2 if I didn't run it hurt. Um, so for me, second would probably be Berlin because I massively PR'd my marathon that day. And Berlin is a really, really fast course and a very flat course. And the weather was perfect. But
So are you
uh,
finding that the more marathons you're running, the faster you're getting?
over the last couple of years, yes, actually, which is something that it makes sense that it's happening because the more you run, the more you cross train, and the more consistent you are bound to increase your skill. Um, but for me, it's been amazing by how much it's been improving, and even in the last 6 months, how much my running is improving. And it's I came back from Berlin with a different outlook on everything because I PR'd my marathon in Berlin by about 30 minutes. It was the most
Wow.
I was on such a high from that. I still don't know what was in the water. Like I'm still like I have no idea how I did that. But when you think about it, I do know. Like I went through extensive physical therapy to rehab the injury from London. But I came home and that was probably the first race where I'm not just running as a hobby. I'm an athlete now. I put in enough work, I put in enough mental dedication, and I'm finding myself working to improve and become a better athlete. So it really just went it this whole running thing for me went from in 2014 being like, I want to run a race just for the shiny medal at the end to let me see what I can do when I train properly and feel right
Yes.
and put the work in. So the whole outlook has really changed in the last, you know, definitely in the last 11 years since I became a runner and definitely in the last 6 months since Berlin.
I really love that you said that because I really relate to that. I mean, I love anybody who gets out there and does it and moves their body for whatever reason. But there is something very different about running as a hobby and just sort of just going out there versus committing and training and putting the effort in to get to whatever your goal is and competing against yourself. And I think that there is a switch to that. people always ask me about my training and how I stay consistent with it. And I'm like, well, I have a goal that I want to get on that start line and do my best to know that I'll finish that race feeling strong and feeling like I did give it my effort. And that I guess that is the difference between a hobby and an athlete, right? It's not that you're not an athlete for getting out there, but it's that commitment to the art of it.
It's the mental switch. It's the
Yeah.
you're again, like you said, kudos to anyone who just gets himself off the couch and moves. I don't care if you're walking, I don't care if you're running, I don't care if you're
Yes.
crawling, I don't care if you're dancing. Kudos for getting up off the couch and getting your body moving, or showing up to any of the tons of local 5Ks our state has and everything. But there is a for me, the difference between hobby versus athlete has been a mental shift.
Yeah.
Because if I'm being perfectly frank, and I don't recommend people take my advice. I just know what works for me. I know I do not run as many miles as a typical marathon trainer should. I probably do under the amount of miles I should. I really credit my increase in strength and skill to cross training and to
Yeah.
Pilates. And that's been that has been so found like such a good foundation and so fundamental to my skills improving. Was Pilates for me, it's even though it's low impact, it has really increased and built up the muscle strength I have in my legs, which has prevented further injury. Um,
Yes.
but so for me, while I know I do less miles, like I was talking to someone recently, like, oh, I'm sure marathon training, you're running like 60 miles a week. And I'm like, no, but don't
No.
take my advice. I am not a coach. I am not a professional. I do not I don't recommend what I do to people. And don't know if it's orthodox or not. I just know what works for my body. But I'm also not out here every single race or every single marathon running at the gas tank 3 miles in. I have
Yeah.
figured out how to pace a marathon. I have figured out mentally for the longer distances how to like reserve the energy, how to slow down, how to for me, it's been such a mental shift. And for me, when the mental piece clicked into, okay, this is what I'm doing, my body sort of just seemed to follow.
Yeah.
So it really is a testament to you're putting your mind to it and you've committed to putting your mind to it. And your body's like, you know what? You're there. It's like my mind is what's leading the way, and my feet are just doing what my mind
Yeah.
decided it's doing. It's sort of how it feels for me, at least.
Yeah. And you're so right about the strength training. I mean, when I fell in love with running, I didn't want to spend any time on anything but running because I loved it so much. But the moment that I did fall in love with lifting weights and that feeling of building strength, I also saw an improvement in my running and reduction of injury. That's what it's all about.
It is. I didn't it took me a long time to actually fall in love with running, and I actually have times where I don't know if I love running. I
Yeah,
love
we all have those moments.
I love what I get from running. I
Yes.
love the sense of accomplishment and pride. I like knowing that I've crossed a goal off my list. And I like proving to myself that for as shitty and as how hard life in the world can be, I'm capable of doing something harder. That's what I get out of running for me. Um, but I went into Pilates because I was a physical therapy patient. My Pilates studio and my physical therapist are the same office. The
Oh,
husband
cool.
and wife team in Glastonbury. The husband runs the physical therapy practice. He's a Penn State alum, which is how we know him. His wife, who was also a physical therapist, owns the Pilates studio and has been doing that for the last 20 years. So
That's
Pilates
awesome.
is integrated into physical therapy. Physical therapy is integrated into Pilates. So when I graduated from physical therapy after completing Berlin, I was pretty much advised we are going to recommend you keep up with Pilates because it will help your physical therapy. And I expected to like Pilates. Pilates is what I fell in love with. I am in love with
Mm.
Pilates. Like I go twice a week. I would go every day if I could afford it. Which I can't because money. But it has become my Pilates twice a week has become a non-negotiable in my life because it is something that makes me work without having to exert too much. And it also, from talk about the mental piece, it gets my mind to shut off. I can just focus on the specific movement, listening to the reformer, go back and forth, listening to the instructor give direction, and I've just been watching since October. I have broken the PR in my 5K. I have broken the PR in my mile. I have broken the PR in my half marathon. I've broken my marathon PR again, all since October when I've started Pilates. And it's just holy crap, this is having such an effect on my life that I didn't realize. So, but I think
That's so cool.
because of the falling in love with the cross training and watching how it's improving my primary sport, that actually in its own way has made me re-fall in love with running. It's really, really cool how that's been working.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So tell us about Sydney. Tell me the whole story.
So, about a year and change ago, when I had heard that Sydney was more than likely going to become the next world major, I was gutted because I was so certain the Abbott 6-star program was going to change. And when I decided to go for the 6-star program, and that's a story in itself I can tell you after this, I knew I wanted to get them done because, with everything I have going on in my life and my health, I don't know what the next year brings. I don't know what the next 2 years brings, or even if I have after 2 years. So my goal was just get them done, get them done, get them done. And I have executed my plan flawlessly to get all 6 done in the time frame in which I set them out to do. Like my goal when I mapped out which of the world majors I was going to do in which order, the plan has made and I have executed it to a T. So
Yeah.
I'm really proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, it's
And
been amazing to
I'm
watch.
really, really proud of myself. And it's been a lot of money raised for charity to do it, which has also been really rewarding for me. So, of course, when I hear Sydney is being added, potentially being added as a 7th, I'm like, oh my Lanta. Like, I didn't want to make the flight to Australia. I was afraid the 6-star program was going to change. And I'm like, I'm so close to the end now. Please do not mess with the hard work I have done to get to this point. So, the friend of mine and I who were doing the world majors with were like, we're not doing Sydney. We're not doing this. We're stopping at 6. We're stopping at 6. It's not going to happen. We're not going to do this. And then, of course, Sydney formally gets announced the weekend of New York last year. Like, that's when they like, congratulations, Sydney. You have now become the official 7th world major. And I'm like, damn it. And then I started thinking about it. And then they announced the lottery was opening up for Sydney. They opened like the end of November, early December, and people were getting chosen, I think, in December. I forget the timeline now. And I sat on it. And Jeff was asking, he goes, are you going to do it? Are you going to cave and go for Sydney? Are you just going to cave and do it? And I'm like, and I waffled for weeks. And I ultimately decided not to. And I was like, you know what? Like, we have enough going on. We're going to Tokyo. We're doing Boston. I'm flying to London to spectate. Again, that's also another crazy story in itself. And then just decided to pass on it. But then the idea of doing Sydney hadn't left. I was like, I need to be done raising money for charity. I need to be done asking people for money. I should probably take some time off after Boston. Fast forward to January, Jeff and I are at Disney for marathon weekend, and we do a really nice dinner with some of our Run Disney friends. And really nice. Where do you know? Have you heard of Victoria and Albert's down at Disney World?
No.
Victoria and Albert's is their Michelin star restaurant.
Oh.
It's at the Grand Floridian. It is a prefix menu. Like the restaurant can only hold like 30 people. It's a really, really small place. Reservations book up so fast. It is a tasting menu. Dinner takes like 5 hours. It's super
Ooh.
cool. It is one of the most incredible things I've ever done at Disney. So a friend of mine included us, like 6 of us, on a like fine dining experience reservation. And so, the food is coming out, the wines are flowing. We're all Run Disney runners. Like we're all running that weekend. So we're all just kind of, getting into the groove of it. And a friend of mine who's there has become and really has a really good working relationship with a charity contact who was lucky enough to get Sydney bibs. And this guy has I think he ran New York for this charity. He was able to get a Sydney bib really early on, and my friend is actually like the unofficial captain of the Sydney team. And his contact, his name is Toby, runs the charity. And so, the wines are flowing, and our friend Matt, he's like, you guys do know, like, I'm really good friends with the point of contact at the charity. Like, you say the word, an email will go to Toby right now, and I will have 2 bibs for you. Like, to me and Jeff, and like, he goes, and our friend Casey with us, which she goes, I can literally get the 3 of you bibs right now if you want them. And we just kind of stopped in our tracks, and I look at Jeff, he's like, are we doing this? Are we really gonna say yes? And my friend Casey's like, no, I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna say no. And she actually stuck to no. She's like, my husband would kill me if I tacked on a Sydney trip. And but my spouse is right there. We can have this conversation in real time.
Yeah.
Decisions. Even was it a terrible decision? Was it a great decision? We'll find out in a few months. But and I was like, you know what? It can't hurt. And my friend in real time pulls out his phone, types an email to the contact at Sydney, and then we were sent the information to apply. We were sent the information to make our fundraising pages, and we sure enough, like, we don't get to actually get the invite for the race until our fundraising is done, but we have confirmed spots for Sydney. So I'm kind of saying, like, oh my God, we're going to Australia. Like, it's just I can't even believe that this is life and this is happening. And again, this is a foot meat mouth situation because I have literally been preaching, I'm not going to Australia. You will not get me on that plane. I am done at 6. Actually, if anything, through this whole running, long distance, racing, world major marathon journey, I have lost count in the amount of times where my foot has met my mouth by now because I have said something like, I'm never going to do this. And you fast forward like a year, 18 months, and I'm doing the exact thing I preached I wasn't going to do because my goals changed and my outlook changed and I'm better informed. And of course, I was like, I'm happy with 6, but now I'm like, okay, Sydney's coming, and Cape Town is up for their second year of review this year, and then Shanghai is going to enter their first year of candidacy. So and then once there's 9 world majors, there'll be the 9th star. 6
Oh
stars equals
shit.
majors.
So I
They're,
better get on this.
they're talking about doing a 9 star.
Oh my
They're,
God.
I know. So of course I know all this. I'm like, now I have to, right? Like, I'm already out
Yeah.
there running the distances, so it's just been.
So let me ask, what time is it? Ad time. It's a celebration. What time is it? It's time to talk about the subscription content that we have going on in the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. So, if you are new to this podcast, thank you for being here. If you've been around a while, I have decided to add 2 subscriptions podcast episodes every single month. So basically, what happens is Mondays is always a podcast release day, and 2 times a month, if not more, I record a bonus episode to sort of dive into either the episode that we have just had on Monday to sort of go deeper into what we've talked about, and or I talk about common themes that are happening in therapy sessions that I'm having, things that are coming up in my life coaching program. It's all designed to help you sort of have tactical information and tips and tricks to move yourself forward in your own life. So I know that you will benefit from this. The feedback that I've gotten so far has all been really positive about the episodes that have come out, and I hope you join us and support the podcast. $10 a month gets you the bonus content, and as I said, hopefully it helps you to take the content in the podcast and really use it in your own life. We are starting this week. We are starting for the first time ever my new group coaching program. It's called It's Your Effin' Breakthrough. And literally in real time, we have started today. And I don't know what the future of this holds. A lot of people have asked if I'm going to be doing it again because they want to join. And I hope the answer is yes. I know I'm going to be giving it my all to give the, I like to call them early birds and guinea pigs. I'm going to be giving them everything that I've got to help them to figure out what's getting them stuck in their own life and how to take massive action forward. So if you are interested in joining this program, this round is closed, unfortunately, but I will put the link in the show notes of how you can get on the list for the next time. that I offer this program or any other group coaching program, or just shoot me a message and I'll get you on the list that way. And if you are on my email list that goes out every single Monday, or if you want to be on my email list, you will get all the information that way too. That is the best way to keep up to date with everything that I offer. I know we always send out my newest podcast episode and just any courses or any classes or any life coaching sessions that I have open. So follow along, join the subscription content, and get in your It's Your Effing Breakthrough the next time I have it, because I know when I do something the first time, it only allows me to really learn and provide a better service for the next time. So I hope the guinea pigs get everything they hoped out of this course, and it'll be even better the next time. So stay up to date. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get back to the show. You this. So the people that did the 6 star and got their medal and got all
Mhm.
that recognition,
Yeah.
if they just complete the one more that's been added on, they'll get another medal and get recognized. Is that
Nope.
how it works?
There's no other recognition from Abbott for just doing Sydney yet because there's nothing else with it.
Oh,
So,
I
and
see.
the 6 star program in itself isn't changing. So like you could do 5 of the actual 6 and Sydney, which in like, oh, but Sydney's my sixth. It's not part of the 6 star. The 6 star
Oh,
are the ones
I
that
didn't
were
realize that. Okay.
um but there will be a special medal that includes Sydney once there's 2 other world majors added, because that will essentially become the 9th star. It'll become like a 9 star.
Oh, so you're gonna get your sixth, you're gonna get
I
your
actually
medal in Boston.
I get my Abbott medal in Boston because I'm
Ah,
finishing the 6.
okay.
I know it's
I
so
didn't
right
realize that. I thought
now.
you'd get it in Sydney. Okay, so
No,
this makes sense.
I get it in Boston. As far as the recognition of the Abbott World Majors is concerned, I will have completed the 6 star program in Boston. I'm just
Holy shit.
I'm so excited. Like that's kind of what my goal is on now. So as incredible as Sydney is, and I'm looking forward to it, I'm not really letting myself think about it until I get through Boston, because Boston is what I've been working for. I wanted to finish the 6 stars in this country. I wanted to finish near home. Um, because it means people can watch and people can
Yeah.
be, and it's one of those, I don't have to be adjusting to a foreign country getting ready to run. I can just wake up and drive the 90 minutes to Boston the night before and then take the bus to Hopkintown and just run and then
I'm
drive
gonna
home.
get you on that bus. That's where I'm gonna be volunteering.
Oh, you are?
But
That's awesome. That's
hmm
so exciting. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I hope I know I'll see you, because I run into you. We literally have run into
Everywhere.
each other everywhere. New
Everywhere.
York City this last weekend, Chicago multiple times on the course, and I saw Jeff multiple times on the course.
I've
Like
seen you
it's
running. I've seen
crazy.
you at Disney. I've seen you. I saw you at in Hartford. I've
Yeah.
seen you like any race we seem to end up at together. We somehow run into each other.
Yeah, it's like amazing. And the Jeff I ran into in the Disney Marathon, he was like waiting for the rain to pass in
Yep.
Fantasyland. I saw him.
Oh yeah. I spectated that one. I felt for everyone running that race with the teeming rain that came down about 7 miles in. That was, whew, I was very lucky to not be running that one.
Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you about fundraising. So, do you all the fundraising that you do is for different causes, or is it for similar causes?
They all, for the most part, ended up being tangentially similar to each other. So, the only oddball out was the charity that I ran London for. It was FAB. It's PHAB, and it's a UK-based charity that essentially provides equal opportunity, like enrichment activities for those who are disabled. So
Oh,
like
okay.
summer camps, activities. It pretty much just makes life and activities and recreational things accessible to everybody. So that was the one outlier. Otherwise, I will have raised all of my money for cancer related organizations. I ran Chicago and Berlin with Team One Step. Team One Step is a charity in which it gives kids with cancer an opportunity to get to go to summer camp.
Oh, I
So,
love
and
that. That's like hole in the wall gang camp.
yeah, so it's they're an amazing charity. I was honored to run with them, not for one but for 2 world majors. I ran Japan for the Japan Cancer Society. So as far as like, I'm willing to overpay to get into this one because it's going to a cancer charity, which, of course, it touches me deeply. I am running um Boston for Active Against Cancer. They're not one of the official BAA charities. They partner with Adidas, which is another one of the Boston
Oh,
sponsors.
okay.
Active Against Cancer is a charity in which their primary goal is to ensure that physical activity becomes an integral part of cancer care. And they partner with Memorial Sloan Kettering's exercise oncology department and with clinical studies to show the efficacy of physical activity and exercise in cancer patients going through treatment, which you know why that hits me deeply. And
Yeah.
then I ran New York City for Fred's team, which is Memorial Sloan Kettering's charity.
Oh, I love that.
I
Okay.
got dedicated, and I got to say, hey, my fundraising, I would like it to go to the breast cancer division. So I
Yes.
run pretty much for all cancer, and then the organization I'm running Sydney for is Shoe for Africa, which helps kids with cancer in Africa. So
Wow.
everything kind of like I've been kind of gearing towards cancer related organizations because that's what hits me. That's what hits home for me.
Yeah. Can you share about your journey a little bit, about your story about that?
Yeah, for sure. So for those who know me enough by now, I live with stage 4 breast cancer. I was initially diagnosed with cancer back in 2017 at the age of 29. Um, I spent the first half of 2018, going through my double mastectomy, having, reconstruction. I was supposed to just be done at that, but final pathology showed, no, you're actually not like stage 0, you're actually stage 1 and it's aggressive. So we're going to put you through chemo, radiation. No, I actually did not do radiation then, sorry. Immunotherapy treatments. And I was deemed cancer free with surgery, but this was all supposed to be preventative. I finished treatment in March of 2019. 5 months later, I found out my cancer came back and it metastasized. So I was found in my bones, in my sternum, and then went through radiation for that. And then over the last 5.5 years, I had had my cancer pop up in other places. I had it in a lymph node. There was a suspicious spot in my lung, but that's eradicated by now. And then 2 years ago, they found a spot in my brain, which is resolved through radiation. I'm thankfully,
Amazing.
yeah, thank God. I am very lucky that my current line of treatment has been working for over 2 years. I actually just got scans last week in which cancer is behaving itself right now. There's nothing awake, there's nothing active. Um,
Yay.
which for someone living with stage 4 metastatic disease is a miracle and is something I don't take for granted because for me, my disease is incurable and will statistically become terminal. And that's a lot to grapple with as a 37-year-old adult.
Oh,
And
yeah.
with cancer since I was 29. So this is the age in your life that you're finding out who you are as a person. You're working, you're getting married, you're having children, you're traveling, you're saving for retirement, you're forecasting 40 years into the future because you're more likely going to live to your 70s, 80s and 90s. And I find out at 29 that I have cancer and at 31 I have incurable one-day terminal cancer. So it's the okay, like, what do I do now? And I just took the perspective of I'm just going to try to live my life as fully as I possibly can. And it's funny, I ran into Katie Baruth at a race in Glastonbury this week. And, she and I are social media friends. We don't know each other super well. But she came up to me and she's like, Danielle, you are literally living the lives of about 15 people
Yeah.
with how fully and intentionally you live your life. And it is something that I am so happy for you for. And it's something that I truly love for you. So I actually don't love the phrase, I love that for you, because you know how backhanded it can be. But the way she just like her heart was like pouring out of her mouth. She was just like, I'm so incredibly happy that knowing everything you go through, you are able to live as fully as you can. So, like I said, as someone with stage four, stage 4 cancer in which there's nothing awake right now, which means my medication and treatments are working and I'm blessed on my good days to be able to live as fully as I can and accomplish all of these goals. It is nothing I take for granted, and I'm so grateful for it. And it's part of why I wanted to get the World Majors as done as fast as I could because I have watched this illness take friends from me. I have watched people go from being completely stable to dead in less than a year. And it's even hitting home now because actually a friend of mine in the Run Disney community who has stage 4 breast cancer and actually runs another podcast was just put on hospice and she's going to pass. So I found this out yesterday.
Suffering.
I found out Wednesday night. And it's the losses just don't get easier because it's hard when you're living with the same thing. And what am I doing that lets me get to live?
Yeah.
But it will take the life of somebody else. So as a cancer patient and you hear these stories, it's almost like you hold your breath, and it puts it into perspective for me that, I'm not guaranteed. Yes, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah.
I literally stare death down the barrel every day with a terminal diagnosis. And I know that, when scan season comes around every 3 to 4 months, I hold my breath because my life can be taken from me by one scan with, oh, you're actually progressing. Oh, things are getting worse. So it's hard projecting so far as I'm hearing stories where people are taking 15 years to finish the world majors, and I don't have 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm lucky for every 6 to 12 months I get. So that's why I rushed to. Will have essentially gotten all six of the 6 majors of the 6-star program done in an 18-month window, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
really just trying to capitalize on the time that I have, and I'm so fortunate that I am in a spot that on my good days, and I say that carefully because I have so many bad days that I don't put out there. I have days like today after this, I'm probably going to go hole up on the couch and not move till tomorrow because I am so fatigued and exhausted, and you know, between that and the anxiety of it all and nausea and other, not so fun side effects that will stay off the podcast,
Yeah.
it's I don't know what my days are like. So I'm grateful that for when have the good days, I get to do all of this. And then I really take it easy on my bad days to make it so I have more good days.
Yeah. Yeah. So rest is a huge priority to you, I would imagine.
It has to be. I
Yeah.
have to give myself the grace of down days. And there are just some days where I can't. Or there's some days that I probably could, but knowing that hey, I know that I have this big thing coming up in a week. I know that I can't spend the next 7 days going pedal to the metal trying to live my
Yeah.
life and be okay for the weekend. I really got to rest. I really got to, excuse me, do this. And I'm just fortunate that I have the days in which I can move and be active. But I also try to remind myself in the days that I can't, that's also okay too, because that lends its hand to the few good days I do have. And most people will really only see me post about the good because that's really what I want to put out into the world. I don't want to be someone who comes on to social media or comes to my friends and bitches about every single little thing that I don't feel well about. I want to,
Yeah.
because I believe your mindset is such a big part of it. And what we were talking about before of the switch between hobby and athlete for running really was a mental shift. I really think the power of your mind and the power of your thoughts has
Hell
a
yeah.
huge impact on how you live. So I really just try to project the good, or almost in a way mask the bad, because there are more down days than good ones. 99% of people will only hear about the good ones, and because I've had so many good ones recently, I'm sure there's people who are like, "Oh, Danielle's fine. There's nothing wrong." And I'm like, "Yeah, but now I'll probably be quiet on social media for the next week and a half because I it took me 3 days to take a shower. I only got 2,000 steps because I couldn't move today, or my
Yeah.
nausea was so bad I didn't eat for 6 hours." Like that's the stuff that you don't hear about.
Yeah. And you do such an amazing job of educating too about breast cancer. Like I know I've learned so much from the things that you post. I know you make that commitment to doing the October posts every year for breast cancer awareness.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's a lot of it has been stuff that I didn't know, because you hear certain things or you get, I don't know, information or it's outdated or whatever, and it's super helpful to put it out there.
I have moments where I wonder if I'm doing enough on that front. I know so many people in the breast cancer community, stage 4 or not, who do so much advocacy work, who make, I say this sort of tongue in cheek, but kind of made being a cancer survivor their entire personality. Like everything they post is in terms of, since cancer this, or I, of course, blanking on my examples, and I had to make a decision years ago, knowing that this is such a big part of my life. I couldn't make it the center of my life. Like, I am a stage 4 breast cancer patient, but I am also a mom. I am also an athlete. I am also a wife. I am a whole ass person outside of being a cancer patient. So
Yes.
I don't want the fact that I don't want it to be like, "Hi, I'm Danielle. I have cancer. Nice to meet you." Like, that's
Yeah.
not what I want people to remember me by. So it's for as much educating as I do, really mainly in the month of October and conversations like this, because I'm an open book when it comes to my diagnosis and my illness and what I've been through and what I know. But you're not going to see me just make random posts on a Tuesday about cancer awareness or what new clinical studies are out there or new statistics or go to rallies. Or I've for me, that's living in cancer land, and knowing that cancer takes up so much of my life. If I made it my entire personality or made it everything I'm about, I don't think I would get to live as completely and fully as I get to, because life is so much more than that for me. So sometimes I do wonder, oh, am I doing enough? Because I look around me, and comparison is the thief of joy. And I compare
Yes.
myself to friends who are like, they post so much and they get so much of their word out there and they're so vulnerable in the good and the bad. And I look at that and it's well, why can't I do that? But then I sit back, I'm like, because that's not how I chose to live. I don't
Yeah.
want to just be I don't want to be remembered as Danielle was great. She did so much for cancer awareness. I want people to remember me by my accomplishments. I want people to remember me because I was a good friend and I was a good wife and I was supportive and I I lived an incredible life. I got to see amazing things. I raised a good human being. Like, that's what I want to be known for. So I'm happy to talk about cancer at any time,
Yeah.
but I've chosen to live the life of, I can visit Cancerland for the moments I need to, but then I can return my hotel key and book a stay for another time and just come back to the rest of what life is.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
appreciate hearing that you get so much from
I
the
and what I think I love from that, and I totally understand what you're saying, but I think what I have gotten from that whole experience of watching you on social media is this is a part of me, like you said, and this is the information that I think is important that the general public knows, and I am living my best life despite it, you know?
And that's essentially what I want people to know, whether that be a conscious thought or not, is that you could have this horrible thing happen to you. And I mean, life, you know me personally, like, life really slapped us in the face with a cast iron skillet over the last 5 years
Oh my
with
God. Yeah.
and life can throw so many bad things your way, but then it's also, what are you going to do about it? I can't sit there and just be miserable in cancer land forever. I can't be grief stricken all the time. I can't, it's, life is a gift, and life, you only get one shot at it. And because, I had all these, I'm in such a weird position of, like, staring death down the barrel, as you say. I think what I want people to take away, like I said, most of this is subconscious because I don't actively think about this often. It's that I want to be able to show that you can be dealt a shitty hand, but make the most of your cards.
Yeah.
I want people to see that, yeah, a lot of really bad things have happened. A lot of shitty situations have come up in my life, and I have been beat down more times than I think most people should ever have to endure. But it is possible to dust yourself off and get back on your feet. And maybe that's a testament to resilience. Maybe it's just because I'm a stubborn bitch who wants to live her life. But it's just, I think I just want people to know that life can still be worth living regardless of what you have going on. And
Yeah.
that's just what I hope people remember. Like, I don't want to be remembered as, I'm Danielle, I'm a cancer patient. It's, despite everything, she made the most of the opportunities given to her. That's what I
Yes.
that's what I want people to see. And whether, if I mean, like I said, a lot of this is so subconscious. I don't think about this. For me, it's just, oh, I'm just living my life. That's cool. But it's hearing that, oh no, this is what you're doing. That's what makes me realize, oh wait, maybe that is what's going on. And that is what
Yeah.
I want to see.
And you have another huge accomplishment coming up this year. You are also finishing 169.
I'm I don't know if I'll finish this year.
Oh, okay. I saw that your
I
big
hit
one.
I hit town 100 next weekend.
Oh,
Um
100. Okay,
I hit
okay, okay.
100.
It's a big
Yeah,
what is it, celebration
it
on the
is.
way to
Our
169.
friend our friend Judy, she's finishing 169 for the second time. And
On
we
that
are
same day?
on the same day. It's at
Oh,
the same
maybe
race.
that's what I read. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So
So, but
100 is still a big fucking deal. We have
100,
two big accomplish or milestones. That's the right word I'm looking for in
yeah,
169, and 100th is a big one. That's our 2-2 run.
it is the
Where is that? When is this happening?
it is on March 29th at the Bradley Road Race in Windsor
Oh, that's
Locks.
right. Okay, that's exciting.
I'm really excited about it. And that's also funny because, Jeff finished 169 back in September. And because I still have so many towns left, he decided to jump into round two. And he wasn't even sure if he was going to do round two, but here he is now in
Here
round
he
two.
is.
And back in 2019, Windsor Locks was his town 100.
Oh,
And we
fun.
were dating long distance at the time. I couldn't be there for it. I had another obligation that weekend. Um, but when I was mapping out what races I wanted to do the back half of last year and into the beginning of this year, knowing that my marathon schedule was insane and my travel schedule was all over the place, I had to be really intentional about how I schedule my race weekends here locally. And it just happened to work out that Windsor Locks could have mapped to 100. And so I asked him, I was like, do you have any like issue or objection to if we end up having the same town 100? And he's like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. Like that, how
Yeah.
would it be for both of us to have that accomplishment? So, and it just, I'm so lucky that the gods worked in my favor. And so, yeah, we will have both made the Bradley Road Race 10K as our town 100.
How
So
fun is that?
that's a week from tomorrow. So it's a long one to get
Yes.
there. I started 169 back in 2019 when he and I were dating. I was up visiting for a weekend in the spring and he needed to run Pomfret. So I'm like, oh, I'll come to a race. That's fine. I'll run with you. And so that March town number one, I'm like, oh, I got an elusive for town number one. That's kind of cool. So I
Yeah.
started learning more about it. And then when I knew I was moving up, I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to just go for it. So it's been almost 6 years since I've started this. So, I mean, I know people who got to town 100 very quickly. I know people it took forever. I mean, let's throw in the fact that there was a whole ass pandemic in the middle of this
Yeah. And it canceled so
and
many
injury
races.
and illnesses, and that sidelined me for a little while. But I really just put, pedal to the metal. And I actually find doing a lot of the local races is how I've been getting my miles in. And that's the
Yes.
consistency of finding a town or two every weekend to go run has also kept me in running shape. So that's been fun and it's cool. And I'm happy to hit 100. It's just people ask me now, oh, you at town 100 is, do you know what 169 is going to be? It's going to just be whatever town is left. I'm
Yeah.
not, as of right now, I'm not mapping to anything in particular. It's just now I just want to try to finish. I'm trying not to go as fast as I can, but I'm also trying to not take my time
Yeah.
for the
Do
same
you
reason.
think that once your 6 star is completed, you'll shift more local, other than Sydney, of course?
Um, Yes and no. I actually threw on. I finished out last year with almost 40 towns. So I really kicked it into gear for 2024 with doing London, Berlin, Wine and Dine, Princess Ha. Like I had so many big races on the calendar, but I just started stacking them in on the weekends because I have found that it helps me in my training and it helps get
Yeah.
me out and hit the pavement. And so even this year, like the only reason why I don't have more towns the beginning of this year because I knew I had the Disney Marathon. I was going on vacation. I was doing the Disney Princess race. I was going to Tokyo. I had so much, and then New York City half. I had so much booked for the first 3 months of this year already that I knew that if I wanted to make Windsor Locks my town 100, I had to stack my races the back half of 24 because I could only do like five in the
Yeah.
beginning of the year this year. So I'm now once kind of Boston is out of the way, and then I'm traveling to London to spectate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Traveling to spectate. I'm gonna start adding races on to the back half, and we're doing that, but I'm also doing the 9+1 program with Roadrunners down in New York because I want to do the New York City Marathon again. It's probably the only world major I will repeat twice because I loved
Yeah.
it so much. And it's just Jeff is going down because he got his 9+1 last year, so he's running the New York City Marathon this year.
Oh,
And
fun. So
we're
this doing the 9+1 this year will get it for
next year.
2026. Okay.
Yeah. And it's us living close enough to the city, and I'm down in the city so frequently anyway. It's easy enough to jump on the train, stay with my mother-in-law, and go and run some of these races. So I'm
So
like
tell
that.
us what the 9+1 program is, just in
Sure.
case
Nine
anyone
plus one
doesn't know.
program is a program through the New York Roadrunners organization. It's a way to guarantee yourself entry into some of their biggest races. They have a few different programs that do that, but the 9+1 is their way of you can guarantee yourself non-complimentary entry into the New York City Marathon. So what you have to do is that they have a slew of they have Roadrunners puts on so many races from 5Ks, 4 milers, 15Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, so on and so forth. Then they have races that are 9+1 eligible, and there's a ton of them. So you have to run 9 of the 9+1 eligible races. Up to 3 of them can be virtual races, and they will tell you which virtual ones count. And then the +1 is you have to find and complete a volunteer shift for the New York Roadrunners organization. So this year, for my volunteer shift, I actually volunteered at the expo for the NYC half. So I volunteered Saturday afternoon at the expo, and so I got my volunteer credit. So I ran the race the next day. The in-person race guaranteed me for my 9+1 towards my 9 race credit to do the marathon next year. New York Roadrunners also has what's called 4 out of 6 and virtual 6. 4 out of 6, if it's running the Borough series, so that's the Manhattan 10K, New York City half, Brooklyn half, Staten Island half, Bronx 10 miler, and the Queens 10K. And I think and then like the virtual New York City half and the virtual Brooklyn would give you credit too. So if you do 4 of those races, you get a guaranteed non-complimentary entry into the New York City half. And then virtual 6 is if you complete 6 of their virtual runs and it'll tell you which ones qualify, you get guaranteed non-complimentary entry into the Brooklyn half. But there's
Oh,
a lot
okay.
of overlap because like the New York City half counted for 4 out of 6 and 9+1. I also did the virtual New York City half, which counted for 4 out of 6 and virtual 6. So it's so easy for some of these bigger races with Roadrunners to double and triple count for some of these programs they have. And
Yeah.
when you break it down and look at it, and us only being a 2 to 2.5 hour train ride away from New York, it's easier than you think it is to get yourself entry into the New York City Marathon, and it's a lot cheaper than fundraising. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
and we have fun with it. I really like the New York Road. I really like the courses they do. I like the races they put on. Jeff did the program last year, and I was like, I'll do it for 26. Maybe we can run the marathon together in 26. And so I did a few roadrunner races last year just because we were going to be there anyway. But now that I have improved so much as an athlete over this past year, I'm going back and doing some of those same races this year, and I cannot wait to see the difference between them.
Yes.
Because for me, that's such a good barometer of, hey, in 2024, I ran this race on this day at this time, and exactly 365 days later, with more training, more athleticism under my belt, what can I do? So that's a comparison that I am so excited to see. Um,
Yeah.
and that's another way that kind of makes running interesting and fun for me. These like it's the this for me this is not an example of where comparison is a thief of joy. It's I love seeing what am I capable of, what can I do, what did I do. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit about Roadrunners. So
Oh my God. Ah, this
lots
is
of
so
exciting
exciting.
things, lots of exciting things, and it's just ways to keep my life full and busy and interesting. And I like having goals, I like having something to look forward to. It Having the goals and having things to look forward to gets me through the days of monotony and the difficult days that I do have that, like I said, you are more than likely not going to hear me talk about. But
Yeah.
knowing that I have so much coming up to look forward to, it makes the hard times worth it because I know, hey, you may not want to be giving yourself the downtime now. You may not want to be sitting on the sidelines now, but it's like, baby girl, look what you have coming up. Rest now your body will thank you later.
Yeah. Have you ever had one of those hard days, like where you feel like shit on a race day?
Yes, actually. The one that comes to mind is the New York City half in 22. That race, if I recall, I'm trying to remember the calendar correctly because I know the memories just came up over the last few days. That race was, I think, less than 10 days after my stepson died in 2022. And I actually had the fleeting thought after he passed. I kind of looked at Jeff. I'm like, I don't know if I should run. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if it's right. Like, is it right of me to still put my foot to the ground and do this knowing that our entire world just got destroyed because our son just died? Like, is it okay? Like, is it right for me to be doing that? And we just thought about it, let a few days pass, and I, I, I'm no way saying, oh, by 10 days I was fine because even he's my son's been gone 3 years, and it is still some of the most unimaginable,
Yeah.
heartbreaking pain you could ever go through.
Yeah.
Um, but I just decided to put one foot in front of the other because I thought back to what would he have wanted me to do? What would my son have wanted me to do? Would he want me to be paralyzed at home because I couldn't get up? And that's not to say I don't have those days, they 100%
Yeah.
happen. Or would he want to see me try to put a smile on my face and lace up my sneakers and go live because he couldn't? And so I felt him or his presence carry me for those 13 miles. It was not a fast race by any stretch of the imagination, but I felt so accomplished at the end because that race I really feel like I ran for him. And in a way, it was channeling some of that frustration and a lot of that anger and a lot of that sorrow. I was able to, I think, use it productively to fuel myself moving forward, and then have my hard moments in the race, but then also be grateful that I do get to do this, and that my son's legacy and his impact and his spirit really got me through that day. So that was definitely a race that I woke up being, I don't think I can do it. I don't know if I want to do it. And
Yeah.
but that's, like I said, not a fast race by any stretch, but probably one that I'm super proud of that I got up and did, because that race was really for him. So it was sort of incredible coming back 3 years later, doing the same race, knocking it out of the park this time. But I still had the same thing, of you know, not can I do this? I woke up being like, okay, I got this. This is good. But I was able to feel his presence, and I could draw upon the strength and his resilience from when he was earthside. And I
Yeah.
felt those little pushes going up that, 42nd Street and 7th Avenue. Those are gradual inclines. That is just 2 or 3 miles of just up, a very
Yeah.
slow up. So by the time you reach Central Park, you're like, and
Yeah.
then of course Central Park is Hill. So I could feel myself at times going up 7th Avenue, the kind of the little like, mommy, you got this, mommy, you got this, mommy, you got this.
Mm.
So I kind of just, it was cathartic in a way being able to go back and do the same race, because he passed away March of 22, so it's just after that time. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the most glaring example that comes to mind of really didn't want to, having a really hard day. Like, I would rather just go hide in a blanket for it. But
Yeah.
so
But you did
it's
it.
just, I was just,
And you found purpose, right? I think that's like what the
yeah.
synopsis of you is, right? There's just a lot of purpose behind all of the things that you're doing.
Yeah, it's finding purpose and finding a productive way to channel the hard feelings, which is no easy feat. It is really difficult to not want to, like, go hide under a blanket, stuff your face, and just cry into the abyss for a week. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes that feels easier, but I almost think it isn't. For me personally, this is all my own personal feeling. Like,
Yeah.
some
Well, it's
people
like
that
choosing
hear
your
it,
heart, right?
it is choosing your heart. And for me, it's just, I'm not going to be able to get through it unless I find a productive way to utilize or move through the pain and move through the frustration. So it's, I'm not myself be frustrated about it, but I'm going to take it out of slamming my feet on the pavement. Like that's how
Yeah.
I'm going to channel this out. But I was talking with actually a doctor this week about something unrelated to this. And it's kind of like we talked about how running in a way, for the more time, for at least for me personally, the more time I'm on my feet running, the more regulating and healing it is for me. It's just it's regulating, it's calming, despite the fact that I'm putting my body through something super grueling. There's monotony in it and there's predictability in it, and there's something just because I'm a run walker. I do the Galloway method for running,
Yeah.
and so it's run, walk, run, walk, run, walk, and I just follow the same intervals over and over and over and over.
What
So it's
intervals do you do?
they vary from race to race. So right now in shorter distances, I can do 90-30s, and I've even played with 2 minutes on, 30 seconds off, which is I never got to that point prior to COVID or prior to getting hurt and getting sick again. So that's really cool for me. My long distance races back up in 2020, I was doing 90-30s, but I was not productive because I would go really, really well for the first like 6 miles and tank. I did the New York City half on 60-30s.
Okay.
And to know that and when I had my last half marathon PR in 2020, I did it on 90-30s with the last 7 miles being a sludge fest. I was really proud knowing that although my intervals, my running time was shorter, I made better use of the running time because my speed is better. So I'm trying to work back up to
Yes.
75-30 or a 90-30 because I want to be able to get to run more. But in some of those shorter distances, like, 5Ks and stuff like that, I can push it because they're short enough. But it's the routine and the predictability of run time, walk time, run time, walk time, the longer I'm able to do it and to pace it for, I actually notice like my mind starts to clear. I emotionally feel better. I just find better ways of channeling the different feelings I'm feeling so that by the end of it, it's almost hey, yeah, that thing still bothers me, but I was able to literally move through a lot of those feelings.
Yeah. Oh God, you are amazing. Thank you so much for coming and
Oh,
sharing
thank
your
you.
time and just like this is just the best and I am so excited. I am so excited to message you the day after Boston and ask you what you
Yes.
thought because I think
Thank
you're
you.
going to love it.
Thank you for having me. This has been really fun. Yeah, I can't wait to tell you all about Boston, and I am curious to know where it's going to fall in my list of favorite races ever done. I have heard amazing things about it. Like I said, so many years ago, I stuck my foot in my mouth saying I would never do it. But now that it's here and I'm
Yeah.
hearing so many incredible things and seeing the reels and reading the stories and hearing the personal testimonials, you know what? I'm pretty damn excited about this one. So, and I love
Yeah.
that, and I love that I get to be close to home.
Yes.
Like so much so my family has never come see me run at a race. I've run a couple of smaller distances with my mom and my sister who were the runners in my family and now they are not. I'm the runner in
Oh,
my family. But my parents and my sister are flying to Boston to actually watch this one
oh,
because I'm like
fun.
I'm finishing the world majors. I've never asked you guys for anything, but and they're like, if you're gonna ask us to come, that's a no shit. We will be there to watch you finish. Like, so I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited this one's on home ground. So I can't wait to tell you all about it when it happens.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
believe it's
me and
that's
like
it's
New
wild.
York and Boston are like this to me. Like, I mean, I think Boston wins it out, but New York was a pretty close
Have you only done Boston once?
3 times.
3 times. Wow.
Yeah. That is like the heart, the spectators. I think being that you said New York's your favorite, I think you're no matter what, you're gonna love it.
I can't wait. I'm really excited. But thank you again for having me.
Of course.
This has been a fun morning.
I know. I'm so glad. Well, I will see. I know I'll see you. I never even have to like plan to see you because we just see each other no matter what. Any
Exactly, right?
continent, any any state.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Melissa.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you loved that episode as much as I loved having that conversation with Danielle. She is such an inspiration, and I know that I know you're all inspired by what she's got going on, and I hope you go and live your life just like she does. No excuses, nothing holding you back, and just give it your fucking all. We never know when our time is up. And I think sometimes when we have experiences or health problems, it inspires us to live even better. And sometimes if we don't have those things that come up and remind us of what a gift it is to be living, we waste it. Don't fucking waste it. Go run. You don't have to run all the world majors, but go live your best life. Love you guys. If this episode spoke to you, take a screenshot, tag me in Instagram stories, leave a rating and review. I appreciate you so much for being here. Love you guys. See you next week.